Pre-statistics. Piecewise functions, Part 2. Lesson objective. Model problems using a piecewise function. Lesson objective. Tax example. A certain country taxes the first $26,000 of an individual's income at a rate of 16%, and all income over $26,000 is taxed at 20%. This is an example of two different tax brackets, and this can be modeled by a piecewise function. A. George makes $16,000. Leslie makes $38,000. How much is each taxed? B. Write a piecewise function t that specifies the total tax on an income of X dollars. C. Mike is taxed $6,000. What is his income? We begin with A. George made $16,000, which is less than $26,000, so he's in the first tax bracket, which is 16%. So the first step is we got to take 16% and change it to a decimal. So we move the decimal 2 places over and drop the percent sign. So 16% is the same thing as 0.16. Now we need to multiply 0.16 times how much money George made, 16,000. So 16,000 times 0.16 equals $2,560. So this is how much George would pay in taxes. Leslie made $38,000. So Leslie is in two tax brackets. The first one, she has to pay 16% on $26,000, and then whatever amount is over $26,000, she's in the second tax bracket of 20%. The first tax bracket is 16% for $26,000, so 26,000 times 16% is $4,160. Now how much does she have in the second tax bracket? Well, we take 38,000 and we want to see how much more is that than 26,000, so we're going to subtract these two, and that's 12,000. So 12,000's in the second tax bracket. So now we take 12,000 and we multiply it by 20%, or 0.2, and that equals 2,400. This is the first bracket. This is the second bracket. So we have to add these, and Leslie will pay taxes of a grand total of $6,560. So George was $2,560. Leslie is $6,560. B. So this is going to be a piecewise because we have two different brackets. When X, the amount of income, is less than or equal to 26,000, we use the first tax bracket, 16%. So that formula would be 0.16 times X. Now if you make more, if X is greater than 26,000, you still have to pay the first tax bracket, and whatever amount is more than 26,000, you're in the next tax bracket of 20%. So for the second tax bracket, we have 20% times whatever amount is more than 26,000. So that would be X minus 26,000 plus the 16% of the 26,000, the first tax bracket, which is 4,160. So we call this function t of x. T of x is equal to this piecewise. If you're in the first tax bracket, your income has to be less than or equal to 26,000, and you pay 16%. If you make over 26,000, whatever amount that you make over $26,000, you are taxed at a higher rate, 20%, plus the $26,000 that you pay, 16%, the first tax bracket. So this is our piecewise function. C. Mike is taxed $6,000. What is his income? So here's an example of where we're given an output and we need to find an input. So we know that T of X is 6,000, and what we want to find is what is his income, what is X. So T of X, or 6,000, equals 0.2 times X minus 26,000 plus 4,160. So the first step is to do the distributive property. We want to distribute the 0.2 to the X and to the 26,000. That gives us 0.2x minus $5,200. These are like terms. We can combine them. They're on the same side of the equal sign of the equation. We get a negative 1,040. So the equation now is 6,000 equals 0.2x minus 1,040. Add 1,040 to both sides. We have 7,040. Divide by 0.2, and X is equal to $35,200. Mike's income is $35,200. Thanks for watching.